Hi, I'm Kenzie. Welcome back to my podcast. If you are just joining, welcome. Today we will be talking about my 17th Little Bear VHS, Summertime Tales. This VHS includes Caterpillars, Follow the Leader, Little Bear's Mermaid, and Hop Frog Pond. First, let's talk about Caterpillars. This episode starts out with Little Bear and Duck chewing on what looked like a special kind of grass. Duck ate hers. She was hungry. She ate another one. The scene transitions to No Feet resting when a caterpillar crawled on his back. More caterpillars followed. They were tickling him. No Feet woke up and noticed them. He screamed and crawled upon a plant to get away from them. He called to Little Bear. He went to see what was wrong. No Feet told him he was being attacked by caterpillars. Duck thought they looked delicious. She was about to eat one when Little Bear stopped her. A caterpillar crawled on Little Bear's face. It tickled. No Feet thought it wasn't nice for the caterpillars to come into Mother Bear's garden and eat it all up. So the scene transitions to Little Bear, Duck, and No Feet carrying tons of buckets of water, including a watering can, to the garden. They thought the water would wash them off. They weren't moving. Duck tried to splash them with more water, but ended up splashing Little Bear and No Feet instead. Then they noticed that the caterpillars liked water, and they followed each other. Little Bear thought if he, Duck, and No Feet act like caterpillars, they'll follow them. They went to a field of plants. No Feet won the race, but only one caterpillar was seen with them. Duck was about to eat it, but Little Bear stopped her. Then she noticed that little caterpillar was eating the plant. Little Bear thought the other caterpillars would like the plants too. So the scene transitions to Little Bear, Duck, and No Feet urging the caterpillars to eat the plants they were holding. Then Little Bear told the little caterpillar to show the others the way. It was working. After they got all of the caterpillars, they went to the field. The caterpillars were happy in their new home. They could really eat. Watching the caterpillars eat made Duck and Little Bear so hungry. It was dinner time. Little Bear asked the little caterpillar if it would like to come home with him. The little caterpillar smiled. The scene transitions to nighttime. Little Bear asked the little caterpillar if it was comfortable. It nodded. The next day, something happened to the caterpillar. Duck was seen sobbing outside. The caterpillars were all gone. Duck didn't eat them, though. Honest. She wondered what the things on the plants were. Little Bear tapped on one of them. Then something magical happened. Butterflies popped out. It turned out the caterpillars changed into butterflies, and they were just resting in what are called chrysalises. Little Bear opened his jar, and the little caterpillar, who was now a butterfly, flew freely with the other butterflies. It sure was beautiful. Duck was glad she didn't eat them. And that's how the episode ends. Now let's talk about the episode as a whole. I feel like this episode had a nice story. Also, seeing metamorphosis is something to be excited about. For people who don't know what metamorphosis is, it's basically a big change for an insect, like when caterpillars turn into butterflies. All in all, it's an amazing episode. I just love nature. Now let's talk about Follow the Leader. This episode starts out with Little Bear, Emily, Duck, Cat, and Owl playing Duck, Duck, Goose. Owl complained that Cat always picked him and that he was the goose. He even complained that it was too hot to be running around in circles. Duck agreed. That's when they decided to go to Hop Frog Pond for a swim to cool off. Owl thought it was too far. Little Bear thought of a fun way to get there. They could play Follow the Leader. Everyone got behind Little Bear except Owl. The scene transitions to everyone except Owl about ready to climb a mountain. Well, it looked like a big green hill. You just have to use your imagination, though. Then Owl joined in. The scene transitions to Little Bear's imagination. It looked like they were really climbing a big mountain. Then they saw a mountain goat. Emily yelled hello to it. An echo was heard. Everyone had fun making echoes. Then they kept on climbing to the top. When they got there, they watched the beautiful colors in the sunset. In reality, the sun was way up in the sky and hot. Speaking of reality, the scene transitions back to it. Everyone thought that activity was great, except Owl, who found it exhausting. Then Cat was the leader. He made them follow him to a log. It turned out it was really a cave, which was cool and mysterious. They saw the beautiful sparkly rocks. Duck even noticed a lizard. The scene transitions back to reality. Then Duck was the leader. She made everyone get on a rock because a giant sea serpent lived in the water, and they were standing on its back, and he was going to give them a ride. They hung on. Everyone had fun on the sea serpent. The scene transitions back to reality again. Even Owl had to say that was exciting. Then Emily was the leader. She and her friends were flying as high as the clouds. The clouds were soft and fluffy. The scene transitions back to reality again with Owl really flying high. Then he was the leader. Everyone followed him down a hill and landed into Hop Frog Pond. The water was so cool. Everyone had a fun time splashing and having fun. And that's how the episode ends. Now let's talk about the episode as a whole. I feel like this episode had a lot of creativity and imagination. It sure felt like we were really climbing a mountain or riding a sea serpent. All in all, it's a good episode. Now let's talk about Little Bear's Mermaid. This episode starts out with Little Bear and his friends going on a picnic. He led them to the lake, which was a perfect spot. He went in the water to swim. He asked if Hen, Cat, and Owl would like to come in, but they said not yet. They thought playing in the water would be fun for a fish or a bear. Hen thought it looked cold. Cat thought it looked wet. Owl told Little Bear to stop splashing. So he splashed by himself. He spotted Frog and splashed him. Suddenly, something splashed Little Bear. Little Bear thought it was a mermaid. His friends didn't believe him. Little Bear told him to just watch in the reeds. The mermaid didn't appear. Little Bear knew she was there. He thought she was shy and afraid of him and his friends. So Little Bear decided that they should all go to sleep. Well, actually pretend to go to sleep, and then she wouldn't be afraid. So everyone pretended to go to sleep. After a while, the mermaid splashed Little Bear awake. He went into the lake and to see the mermaid. She surprised him and asked if he would want to swim. So he did. After they swam, Little Bear wanted the mermaid to see his friends. The mermaid noticed they were taking a nap and asked if his friends would come in the lake. Little Bear said they were not swimmers. The mermaid told him he was a wonderful swimmer. Little Bear told the mermaid she was the best swimmer of all. The mermaid thanked him, kissed him, and swam away. Soon everyone awoke. Little Bear told them he saw and swam with a mermaid. His friends still didn't believe him. Mother Bear said that the mermaid might like a picnic, which it was time for. Father Bear said that you never can tell with mermaids. At the end, it was time for lunch, and the mermaid appeared once again. And that's how the episode ends. Now let's talk about the episode as a whole. I feel like this episode made me feel sorry for Little Bear. I mean, I saw what I saw too. I believed there was a mermaid. But at the end of the day, I learned that people believe what they want to believe. I still believe in mermaids, unicorns, Santa, leprechauns, the Easter Bunny, etc., etc. To me, believing in things makes me feel like a kid again. So I thank Little Bear for making me believe in things. All in all, it's a good episode. Now let's talk about Hop Frog Pond. This episode starts out with Little Bear and his friends playing with the flowers. Emily was sad though. She realized that she had to go back to school soon. Little Bear didn't want her to go, but Emily could never forget her friends and all the great times they've had together, like the time they went to Hop Frog Pond. The water was cold, the water lilies were pretty, and there was so much mud. That's when Little Bear decided they could all go to Hop Frog Pond today. So the scene transitions to everyone going to Hop Frog Pond when suddenly they heard something. It was just Moose. He gave everyone a ride to Hop Frog Pond. Soon they had arrived. Owl gave Emily a water lily. Duck wrote the letter E for Emily in the mud. She spelled it exactly right. Then Little Bear and Emily went in the pond to swim. There were all kinds of animals at Hop Frog Pond. Fish and frogs, of course, and even otters. They went to say hello to the otters. The otters were having fun sliding down a mudslide. They invited everyone to join in. The otters went on their bellies, their backs, and both. Little Bear decided to start with sitting while sliding down. He slid down with a big splash. Then it was Emily's turn. She slid down with a big splash too. Then Duck went. Hen and Owl did too. Cat didn't feel like sliding down the mudslide. Duck said he can't swim. Suddenly the otters made him go down, and it turned out Cat could swim. Duck went again and went over Moose and did a flip. Everyone was impressed. And so everyone had a fantastic time sliding down the mudslide. There's even a part where Little Bear and Emily were wearing matching lily pads as hats. After a while, everyone relaxed. Little Bear noticed an acorn that came from an oak tree. Emily said they can grow up to become 1,000 years old. Then she told Little Bear they had to leave. Then Little Bear gave Emily the acorn to remind herself the great times they had at Hop Frog Pond. Then Emily planted the acorn and everyone gathered around to hug each other because they were great friends. And that's how the episode ends. Now let's talk about the episode as a whole. I feel like this episode had a lot of emotions in it. I mean, there was sadness when Little Bear didn't want Emily to go to school. There was happiness when everyone arrived and had fun at Hop Frog Pond. And there was excitement when everyone had fun on the mudslide. All in all, it's a good episode. So yeah, that's Summertime Tales. If you would like to play again, just go back to the beginning of this episode. See you next time. Bye!